So remember to teach your child or to introduce your child to these self-learning techniques and methods. I've heard a lot of people from the corporate field saying that, ma'am, I'm not able to creatively think and visualize. I've lost everything because my job is monotonous. And don't blame the technology, and that is the next point. Since the COVID times, I have heard parents saying, my child has lost interest in learning, even in academics, because the COVID, the values are not specific only to religion and culture and region. So what you should tell yourself is, it's not technology that is spoiling me. It's my choice. It's my rat race, my willingness to always run in this rat race. Hello, welcome to another video on my channel. Thank you for joining me. This is Renee Rose Matthew. I'm an author and a language trainer. You could go through the channel description if you're new to the channel. Language is a form of expression, and it doesn't matter to what profession you belong. But definitely, language is not a choice these days. It's not only about the English language. Communication is very important. So today's topic is all for the parents, learners, and students. It is not restricted, and it is not confined to only the boundaries of those people who come under the category of parents and learners. Do watch the entire episode. You must have heard many parents practicing these things. Some of the guidelines are okay, but some aren't. I thought of sharing a few guidelines with you. It's not easy to be a parent. It's not easy to be an adult. It is not easy to be a child these days because the world is so competitive. Unnecessary competition has creeped in, which makes life very, very tough and difficult. But still, striving forward is the strength. You cannot be toxically positive these days. You have to be positive, learn tackling, learn guiding yourself. So self-learning is very important. So shall I get started with some of the guidelines for parents, children, learners, and all the adults out there? Number 1. Many parents speak about homework. They say, you haven't given enough homework, so I feel the child is not doing anything these days. Let me tell you, homework is an extension of what's happening in the school, specifically coming to the syllabus and the portions, so that the learner becomes thorough with the concept, the idea, and the portions. So coming to the part of teachers, there are teachers and institutions which encourage portions that are untaught and not covered in the class to be given as homework so that the syllabus is covered fast, which is also not a good practice. There are parents who feel that the more homework you give, the better the child becomes. With practice, it is okay. With math problems, it's okay. With worksheets, okay, it's fine if it's an extended portion of what's being done in the class. But it's not necessary that the child knows everything only if the homework is given. And it's not necessary that if homeworks are not given, the child is not doing well. Homework is an extended portion of what's being done in class. It is just for practice, but it is essential so that the child do not lose connection or contact with the portions that's been handled in the class. This is not only applicable to only children, even to learners. We give assignments, projects. Even during my training sessions, I give specific assignments so that they remain in touch, so that they research, refer, and get into this track of self-learning. Now, that is very important, the term self-learning. Number 2, do not motivate your child by comparing the learner, the child, the student with another student or another person in appearance, in intelligence, in emotions. No. You can definitely talk about the achievements and the struggles that children face as being deprived from the basic rights to education, because there are people like that, there are children like that in our society all over the world. You can tell them about the specific groups, the sectors. In spite of being deprived, they strive forward and they do learn. You can talk about the groups, but never take the name of a child, a learner, or a person and say, look at that person, look at this person. It is not a good practice, because you cannot impose force always and make a human being listen to you. So you need to just show the path. The choice is important. Make them understand the importance of responsibility. Make them understand the importance of being deprived of certain things, of enjoying certain benefits in the society. Number three, do not send a sick child to school. Definitely, you're putting the child's health in danger. Not only that, you're putting the health of other children also in danger. This is applicable to adults as well. When it is possible, whenever possible, you need to take a leave. Because what is the use of going for work, or what is the use of going to school when you're not able to function normally and usually? It's not possible. The willpower will be there, and you may think, I have to think positively, but your body is definitely requiring and is asking for some rest. So today most of the infections are airborne, and it is not advisable to go and strain yourself. Be positive, think positively, do something productively if possible, sitting at home, because not only you but others are also going to be in danger. The next point, many adults, many parents are used to changing schedule. That's okay because it's for the benefit of the child. Sometimes they are used to changing the schools rapidly. Okay, it's a kind of habit and hobby for them. They feel language is not proper there. They feel arithmetic is not proper. Extracurricular activities are not there. See, do your research before admitting the child in a particular school, because that's very important. Okay, practical knowledge, theoretical knowledge, everything is important, and sometimes our educational system lack these things. To be very frank, there are a lot of institutions working towards it, but it's important to do the research before changing the schools, because when you change schools, when you change the institution, it takes at least 2 to 3 months for a child to get adjusted, adapt, adopt everything, adopt the methods, adapt to the surroundings and the environment. It's not very easy. Of course, they navigate very easily, and it is quite easy for children to get adjusted, but still, as they go up higher in their classes and in their subjects, I feel it's important for you to not do this and change grades, change schools rapidly just because of one or two reasons. Do your research and then shift. But my advice is, before shifting, why don't you do the research on that school? Because that's also very important. Why do you have to take the risk always after grade 4, after grade 5, after grade 8? It's definitely going to put the child in an imbalance. It is quite difficult for the child to adjust when it's done always. Offline and online teaching, offline and online learning. Okay, I'll talk about both the aspects. Right now, I'm taking a lot of sessions offline and online, but more online. There are a lot of parents who think that online teaching, online work is quite easy. It doesn't require any responsibilities, no liabilities. I've heard corporate people also talking this way. How is that possible? It depends on what you're doing, your experience, and the workload and the way you proceed with whatever you're doing. I feel more effort should be taken when you conduct classes online. You're not seeing the person. You have to make use of a lot of strategies and methods. Right? And offline is quite different. There also different methods and strategies will have to be made use of. Now, since the lockdown times, since the COVID times, we have been used to the online learning and teaching methods. We have been developing, evolving as learners and tutors, and definitely as a trainer myself. Now, I'll tell you something, the responsibilities are the same. Okay, you may have to take more effort here, and most of the time the classes are interactive. Now, speaking on a general note, our educational system do not give much importance to the practical knowledge. I'm not talking about all the institutions, and many of the institutions and educational pioneers are working towards it, but still we have a long way to go. I've come across a lot of schools around the world, around the globe, adjusting to the online learning methodology. Initially, it was definitely tough, specifically for the junior school and junior students, even for the teachers. Okay, but you would have come across a lot of students, even in our country, saying that it was quite easy for me because I could research, refer, and learn something on a daily basis. Now, that's not applicable only to the nerds, as you call them, or only to people who are very good in studies. No. If you're used to the self learning method, it's quite easy. So, remember to teach your child or to introduce your child to these self learning techniques and methods. Now, coming to the teachers and tutors, they should also know this. Okay, spoon feeding the child, giving the textbook, and depriving them of the practical knowledge will definitely put them in danger when they attend interviews, when they enter the high school, higher levels of education, and even when they enter college, because self learning is important. That's when they forget about their responsibilities and think of the alternatives. I've heard a lot of people from the corporate field saying that, ma'am, I'm not able to creatively think and visualize. I've lost everything because my job is monotonous. It's mechanical to an extent. I'm not saying that you don't require creativity. You have forgotten to visualize and even imagine because of the way you've been practicing. And some people say, I haven't written any notes since I joined my office, my work, because it's like that. You need to sometimes take a paper, pen, and at least draw circles or squares, because that is also important. You should be a learner for life. That is possible only when you develop the self-learning techniques and methods that helps you to visualize and imagine. I've seen a lot of schools adapting and toggling between the self-learning methods and the offline and online teaching strategies. The strategies vary when it comes to online teaching and then the offline teaching. If everybody is working on the same methods, that is not the problem. There are a lot of innovative groups working on genuine and sincere methods, concentrating and focusing on individuals. So people from the corporate field sometimes say that I've forgotten to do these things. I'm not thinking creatively. It's not because you're not reading books. It's not because you're not writing down any notes. You have made yourself zombies. And don't blame the technology, and that is the next point. So both require equal responsibilities. If you're a responsible person, both definitely require responsibilities. It will have liabilities. It will also teach you different methodologies and strategies, because you're dealing with the human brains and not with zombies. When you're online, it's different. When you're teaching offline or when you're learning offline, it's different. Online is quite different. So since the COVID times, I have heard parents saying, ma'am, my child has lost interest in learning, even in academics, because the COVID, the lockdown. Of course, we all faced a lot of problems, but slowly, I have seen many students getting used to such learning methods where they learn on their own. So the next point is, it's good to assist a child. It's always good to guide a child, but do not sit throughout the study period with a child, because you're eventually scraping off the ability of the child towards self-learning, to research, refer, make errors, and then again work on the best strategies. Strategies are something that develop over time. So if you're not giving space, if you're not going to give space to the child, you're not only imposing your methods on the child, but also he or she may have different methods and better methods than you. Okay, so don't sit throughout the study period with the child. Guide. You can even allot portions, have games for fun, so that you have an interactive quiz session, or you discuss about what happens in school on the academics, but do not sit and teach everything. Naturally and eventually the child will lose interest in academics, in studies, and definitely in learning. Learning should happen for life. It's not only applicable to tutors and teachers and mentors. Even people from the business field can definitely work on that, because most of them take sessions for communication, on communication skills as well. Parents, please teach your children to be humans. Teach them qualities, values. Values are not specific only to religion and culture and region. Okay, it's very important. Today, whatever the profession may be it teaching, be it acting, be it modeling, or even data analyst, or whatever you're doing these days, little bit of marketing, little bit of business is involved. And that's not only confined to the business people. It has become a trend, but not only a trend, a strategy these days. So, communication is important, and that's different from language. Many people dealing with business are good with language, but they're very poor with communication. So, you have to be a human first. You should definitely understand the importance of approaching a person, showing the right attitude before enrolling or before choosing such careers. Whatever it is, teach your child the right approach, the right attitude, and do not forget to be a human. The last point, do not blame technology. Remember that whatever is traditional now was once upon a time modern. So, technology is always there to help us. There are pros and cons. So, earlier, maybe 10 years back, also we had a lot of developments. Technology was definitely, towards progress, it was never lagging. But today we have got access. And as I told you in the beginning, life has become very difficult today because of unnecessary competition, not only for children, but also for adults. So, what you should tell yourself is it's not technology that is spoiling me, it's my choice. It's my rat race, my willingness to always run in this rat race that's spoiling me. So, it is going to go forward. Technology is definitely going to take you to the speediest and also to the farthest and the best versions of comfort zones and accessibility. It's going to happen. It will definitely keep on happening. But don't blame the technology saying that it's because of technology that the children are not developing the interest. So teach your children all these points. And these are some of the guidelines that I have developed over the years, working with counseling groups and also with learners. It's always good to learn. And it's always good to study. And it's not specific only to teachers, trainers, professors, but definitely people from all walks of life. Okay, stay positive again and bye bye. Thank you for being with me.